Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, today we want to quickly take another video review and reaction on Mo's conversation with Aliko Dangote. As usual, remember to be subscribed to this channel, turn on the bell notification, leave a relevant comment, sit back, relax as we learn for life and not for school.
Our second interview today, we have another iconic African in a totally different sphere. We had Amina in the morning. Now we have Aliko Dangote. He is the most famous industrialist and investor in Africa. I think I don't need to introduce him. Aliko, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thank you.
I know
great pleasure.
You lose a lot of money by stopping working and coming here, but sometimes
it's okay.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do also.
You have to, yes.
That kind of makes you civil society, which is not bad.
We do.
Okay. Right, Aliko. For the last year, we have been talking on and off about this very ambitious project. I mean, we all knew you as a cement man, the man who making cement everywhere in Africa. Suddenly we hear that you became an oil man, and in oil you went into most complicating area. You did not buy a block of oil from the government.
We are there also.
You are also there?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy, this man is really cracking me up. His accent is so very funny. Come on, let's go on and listen to what this has to say.
We bought 2 blocks from Shell.
You got 2 blocks over there. Okay, people think that's easy, but you get a block and if you discover something, sell it to one of the oil majors and make your money, and you go to Regent's Park or Surrey in London, and we have many of those guys in London.
We have.
But you are doing something very unusual. You decided to build one of the largest industrial facilities in the world, actually, not only in Africa. It's a huge undertaking. What is the capital cost of this project you're doing?
Well, in that particular location, we are spending about 12 to 13 billion dollars.
12 and 13. You heard this number?
12 to 13.
13 billion dollars.
Yes.
And this means you are betting everything. You're betting your share on this. Correct?
Well, I'm betting quite a lot. Yes.
You're betting quite a lot.
Quite a lot. No.
Yes. Okay, that's wonderful. But can you tell us what exactly this you are doing and why it costs all this amount of money?
Well, actually, thank you very much. Mo. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this Mo Ibrahim's weekend. It's a great pleasure to be here. Yesterday, I was actually sweating when there was an accident. Going to the airport.
Where? In
London.
In London, okay, you were in London, I said.
Yeah, because Stansted Airport closes at 10. I said that, well, if I'm not able to make it,
I will never talk to you again.
I know, and that's more expensive than my project.
You know why this guy is charming, Anyway, thank you very much.
So really, what we have today, Mo, is that we have almost about 5 major projects. We have the refinery, which is 650,000 barrels per day.
650,000
barrels per day. We have the petrochemical, which is 1.3 million tons of polypropylene polyethylene, which will make us second largest exporter of petroleum products in sub-Saharan Africa after Sasol. Then we have 3 million tons of urea and ammonia, which is fertilizer, and also we have the gas pipeline. But the 3 have actually moved very, very fast. And then we have the cement. We are doing about $2 billion worth of expansion in the cement. And then agriculture agriculture, we have, rice, 1,000,000 tons, which we are building with integrated power, because we are in the localities where we are going to, process, do parboiling. The rice we eat is different than the rice here in Cote d'Ivoire. We eat parboiled rice, so you have to boil the rice and do, the process. With all this, the most challenging one, which is really very good, is the refinery. It has opened our eyes to see the lack of infrastructure in, Africa.
Now, let us dissect. We're going to do a forensic audit of what you are doing now.
Okay.
So let's take it one by one.
One by one, all right.
Okay, this big refinery and associated installations you are making, can you describe it to us? What is exactly, is it just some pipes bringing crude and you are refining this and then pumping it back, or what do you have to do?
We have, the refinery is actually on first of all, let me tell you the challenges and what we are facing. It's just outside Lagos. We took up a land which is about 2.7 million square meters.
2.7 million.
Yeah, square meters is huge. It's massive. Internal roads alone, we have 136 drainage, some of them as wide as 40 meters, we have 200 kilometers. And it's all fenced.
240 kilometers of roads you have to create?
No, 136 kilometers of roads. So by drainage, we have about 213 or so of drainage. But the most challenging is that, the land, it was just a jungle, was a mangrove. Marshland, we have to remove all the trees.
You have to clear
it, and then we pump 65 million, cubic meters of sand, which is quite a lot. We have to bring the two world's biggest dredgers to work there continuously for almost about 10-11 months.
So you get this sand from the seabed?
From the sea, yes, from the sea into the land.
Okay.
And so when we finish that, we are now faced with the quality of the soil that we have. Our refinery, not the fertilizer, the refinery section alone has the highest number of piles you can find anywhere in the world, which is 136,000 piles. It's huge. It's 100.
You know what? Let me tell you guys something. Africa, and particularly Nigeria, is blessed to have such a man as this, because I wish, this is just a personal opinion, I just wish that this man, this kind of man, or even if it's not him directly, if we could just have somebody like this as the president of Nigeria, things would move on very, very well. I just feel that way.
So everything about this refinery is very, very huge. You can see the regenerator, which they are showing here.
Can we have some? What's
Yes, this one is weighing 3,000 metric tons.
You have to generate your own power.
No. This regenerator, it regenerates the crude.
You generate
the crude.
Okay.
Yes. So. So we have this, but the real challenge of the project is that we have to build our own port, because none of the ports in Nigeria can actually take the weight.
Where do you get this from?
This is from Hyundai, Korea.
From Korea?
Yeah.
And you managed to ship it all the way from Korea
to... Yes,
we
have actually 7 of these.
Okay.
This is the biggest, then we have another smaller ones, and this thing has to be rolled out. And so the ports in Nigeria, the heaviest equipment they can take might be maybe 150 tons or so. And then we are faced with the roads. If you look at what this one is going to go on now, they put on the this thing.
And what
we have to build a special road for all our equipment to be able to pass.
What is this creature?
Which is that?
Well,
the other one is the heaters. We have
Filters.
filters and heaters. They are the same.
Okay, to ensure the flow.
Yeah, the flow of the oil, to heat it up, and so we have a lot of various. We have an equipment single one which is 42-story building.
You showed me some pictures of massive cranes. You said you have to get some of the world's biggest.
There are only 3 of them available in the world. There are 5,000 tons crane.
5,000 tons.
Yes, so that one you have to book maybe a year and a half, 2 years in advance, because there are only 3 in the world.
The whole world.
Yeah, in the whole world. There are only.
You have photographs of this stuff?
Yeah, this is. This one crane is huge.
That's the crane.
Yes, it has not been fully assembled. This crane has equipment over 205 containers, which they have to couple, together. So these are some of the,
Is this accommodation or what you are doing?
No. These are the heaters.
I thought you were real estate that way. No.
It's not real. It's not real estate. But the site, we have over 30 kilometers of fencing.
30 kilometers of fence.
Concrete fencing at the site. So we have quite a lot of challenge. But what this will give us at the end of the day is to give us, 650,000 barrels of, crude processing, and total number of products that will produce will be about 32 million tons. So 32 million tons, it means that Nigeria will actually be one of the largest exporters in Africa of petroleum products. So what we are trying to do is to do exactly like what we did in cement. Nigeria used to be number 2 in the world after US cement importation. And now Nigeria, was self-sufficient. And by this year, Nigeria will be the largest exporter of cement in Africa.
Okay.
With 8 million tons of export.
Right, but I think this wonderful. This is a courageous man to put all, he built the bank and everything on such a massive technological projects, which in Africa we're not famous for. We always go for the soft stuff, and I'm not aware of any major private investment in Africa at that scale.
No,
which is funded by local people.
Yes.
And that's it. Can you give him a hand really for what he's doing?
You see, this is exactly the line of thought that I've always been advocating for. Local development. Mo here was actually talking about Africa, not being known for big tech and all that we only go for the soft stuff. Now, I'm very, very, very appalled by the sense of humor of this man. I mean, the interviewer himself. Are you getting it? So, but the fact just still remains that the core solution to the problem we have in Africa is local. It's embedded in local development. So it just cannot. There's no way we can overemphasize on the need for local development. It is key and it is central for Africa's development.
Now we come to cement. I know you have a number of cement facilities. How many countries you are producing?
Well, 14 in total. The operational one.
14.
We have about 11. Then we have about 3 new countries.
Now, let me ask you a question. You had to do 14 factories.
No, more than 14 factories, 14 countries.
14 countries, so you have more than
Some
one?
countries we have, like in South Africa we have 2. In Nigeria we have 3. We are building the 4th one. Let me give you the scale of our industries. Like in Nigeria we have one single location which we are producing about 30 million tons, which is
13 million tons.
13 today. But by end of this year it will be 16, which is by far outstripping the whole production of South Africa.
So you're going to end up producing more than South Africa?
In that location alone, yes.
Just one location?
Just one location.
South Africans watch out. You guys are
they don't watch out. I'm there.
Becoming history. Yeah.
So we have in Zambia, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Congo, Brazil, so most of the countries, were there. In Cameroon, we're actually building another 3 million tons here in Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah, Côte d'Ivoire, just about an hour, from here.
Now, strategically, when you start to build this empire of cement manufacturing, are you, of course, you're looking at markets, etc., and raw materials and transport, but was it necessary to build in 14 countries? I mean, couldn't you build in 4 or 5 key locations and then transport to other countries, or are the custom barriers forcing you to put factories sometimes where it's not optimum to do so?
Well, there are several reasons. One of the reasons first is that it is not easy to move around.
It's not easy to move
It's
around.
not easy to move around, that's number one. Number two, it depends on the country whether they have limestone, which is our key raw material.
That's what I thought. Some location will be more.
Yeah, so, it depends. Like now, let me give you an example, because you talked about movement within Africa.
Yeah.
Take, for instance, our factory in Nigeria, which is in a place called Igbeshi. It's not far away from Obasanjo's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put it there because of Obasanjo?
No. It's because of the limestone, actually. So we have the factory there. We're only 28 kilometers into Republic of Benin. But Republic of Benin, they don't allow us to take cement into, Benin Republic. But they import from China.
Why?
It's one of the areas that I keep always discussing with my very good friend Vera. I'm sure she's somewhere there. And I always tell Vera, please, can you make the regional markets in Africa to work before we go to AFCFTA?
Now, let me just get to the bottom of this. Could it be the Chinese cement cheaper than your cement?
No. It's whatever. If the market is selling for zero, we're willing to compete at zero. So we'll just take and sell.
So you are having to compete at price?
No. It's not about competition. It's about allowing us to go in.
So how come they allow Chinese and not allow Nigerians?
Honestly, you should ask the president of the country. He will give you.
Do you have anybody from Benin here?
Look, let me state something here. The moment Africa stops self-hating themselves, okay, we're going to make progress. Now, this section of this video is very, very important. You can imagine Benin. I mean, I wasn't even aware of this up until this moment. How can Benin be importing cement all the way from China, as in thousands of miles away, and just beside you, you have someone producing it? Is it not better? Is it not economically better to be doing that than, importing all the way from China? I mean, what is going on there is partly going on in Nigeria too, because Nigeria too has been engulfed with importing of fuel or refined crude oil, from distant lands, instead of refining its own, product to a consumable product level. I heard that Jamaica has a refinery and they don't even have oil. So is it not ridiculous for Nigeria to have crude oil and yet they don't have a refinery? The same thing goes with this Benin issue that has been discussed at this moment. How can Benin Republic decide to be importing all the way from China and you refuse to develop, to identify with local development? No, this has to really, really change.
No?
I'm sure nobody will rise up.
No?
Do you?
Nobody from Benin?
Nobody from Benin?
Where? Okay, why are you doing that? No answer. Please, when you go home, ask why are you doing something silly like that? I mean, if it's cheaper, I understand, but if it's not cheaper, why?
Because
why?
really, the AFC, CTA is a very, very good, thing to, but my issue is that even if we sign, What about the implementation? You know, we are very good at designing programs and whatever, but implementation is key, which is really missing. You know,
because we talked about free trade areas.
Yes.
ECOWAS talked about borderless
Yes.
region. Is that happening in reality or not?
Well, actually, it's not happening in reality. You know, because the biggest issue that you have is, you know, allowing movement. Today, if we are going to take cement to, say, maybe Togo, we're going to spend almost a week for just 210 kilometers.
Is it the roads or is it the customs?
It's the customs.
The customs?
Yeah, you sleep in the border when you get there.
Why?
Because, you know, it's just corruption.
You have to pay in order to get your...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You see, I don't blame the current situation in ECOWAS right now, while some members of that body is pulling out. What those guys in Burkina Faso, in Mali and Niger, what those guys are saying, they are just, I'm sorry to say, in my opinion, they are the truth. You get it? If they are pulling out and they are, you know, they are accusing ECOWAS that it has failed in its mission of actually reaching out to people. This is it. This is the practical implication that is being discussed right now. I mean, look at Benin refusing to take a product being produced by a member state. So what are they doing? I mean, what is the charade? It's just like a charade. Why would, you know, ECOWAS just be just a figurehead without actually affecting people's lives? I mean, this has to really change on a serious note.
Well, we don't pay, but maybe that's why they're holding us. But even people who are paying, they have to spend that long period of time.
Also,
it's a long process, yes. So I think the CFTA will help us. But I think before we jump to CFTA, we must make sure that the regional markets are working very well.
Right, I think there is some practical issue here which people need to think about. We keep celebrating in Addis Ababa signing agreements and borders and movement, free movement. And here we have a situation where it takes a week to move goods 280 kilometers between two neighboring countries.
And then your neighbor too will say that no, don't bring your goods here. You know, I think when you look at it, a place like Republic of Benin, Togo and Co, they are the ones that will benefit more in terms of this, you know, regional markets. Because if I'm from Benin or I have business in Benin, it means that I don't only have market for 14, 15 million people. I have Nigeria's market, which is 200. You see, because the economic activities of Nigeria is mainly in the southwest, which is 60%. And the Republic of Benin is like part and parcel of that, you know, area. I mean, it's easy. My own market, like what I said, it's easier for me to take my cement into Republic of Benin than going to Lagos. Even though I'm near.
I mean, yeah, we have been talking about regional. Where is Vera? I mean, we're talking about regional integration and all this stuff, and it's not happening on the ground. So
Vera, are you here? Yeah, she's right there. Okay, we'll get you.
No, I think this conversation is important to really show what's happening actually in the ground. You know, how we're gonna move.
Couple of us, we have a lot of, you know, work in our hands to do. I mean, today, for example, what I keep saying, luckily, you know, people like Vera, they are there, they are actually, you know, pushing. You know, they have done this African Union passports.
Passports?
Yes, okay.
I haven't got one yet, I don't know why.
No, they have to give you one. You know, definitely. I mean, it's better for you. Because if you now see my passports, I carry 6 to 7 passports because of visas. Okay, and even though I'm an investor, but I need visas in almost 38 countries out of 55 or so. So now they have issued us with the African Union passport. About few of us have gotten the first.
3 of us.
Maybe 3
How much do I have to pay for that?
No, I didn't pay anything.
Come on, I mean,
No.
Look, I mean, I haven't got one. I mean, I support the African Union. They give me one. must have paid something for those guys.
No. We got it. It is in Addis Ababa at the African Union. So I've got one. But let me tell you this: the one that I have, I went to South Africa quite okay, and I think
carrying a Nigerian passport or South African passport.
No, carrying African Union passport.
African Union passport.
Yes, but this same African Union passport, I'm sorry, since we're all talking very openly, but I was invited by the president of Angola to come and, see him. And, I had to go. Normally I don't travel much during fasting period, but I went. And when I went there, I had to be given visa on African Union passport.
Maybe there is fees for the visa?
No,
no fees?
It's not about fees. When you say African Union passport, it's that you should
get some money
everywhere. Free of charge.
I thought that was the agreement.
Yes, okay. So I had to apply for visa, and intentionally when I applied for the visa, I also applied on African Union passport, and I gave them that to sample it.
Maybe you need to send the picture of that to Musa Faki to say...
No, I'm going to send it to Vera.
She did not issue the passport.
She did issue, yeah, but she should go
and said, what is this? I mean, is that useful?
No, I think she's in Ethiopia, and since she's dragging all of us to champion this CFTA, so she needs to go and sort out these hanging issues. Then we'll all go out to Nigeria will sign tomorrow.
I tell you something. This trouble thing, I tell you honestly, I mean, I also have, besides Sudanese passport, I have a British passport. I cannot use Sudanese passport anyway for obvious reasons. So I travel with British passport. I go everywhere. I get my visa in South Africa.
If you go to any...
Because I say here, I don't look British, but I have a British passport. So
but your own is even easier or very simple. I've been to most of these countries where somebody who is my assistant, who take notes in the meeting, he will be allowed in, and they will not allow me in.
An African country?
An African country, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's... what do you do with those guys? Anyway.
Well, I think we need political will to be able to implement most of these things that were signed in. And, I think in Africa, if you will allow British, European, Americans to get in there on visa, having visa on arrival, you should allow all Africans to get in there with no visas. And I keep telling them, I was on a panel with the Prime Minister of, Mali, and I asked him, I said, Mr. Prime Minister, the people who are causing trouble in the other part of your country, did they come through the airports?
No.
Those guys, they don't need a visa.
Boko Haram, that's exactly.
They don't need a visa, so whether you give them, it's better you go and concentrate on the trouble.
Exactly, you go
through with their tanks.
5 kilometers from the airport.
Yes, with their tanks, and they come into the cities with no, yes. So that's the,
One thing before, I need to talk a little bit about the issue of policy, but before we continue there's one thing you mentioned about agriculture.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to know what exactly you do about agriculture. I look at agriculture as also the one activity which can create a lot of jobs. Frankly, mining does not create jobs. You told me that you employ up to 70,000 people to build that refinery and stuff. I think there's a port need to be built, and there's power.
So many infrastructure
things. But these are not operational employment. These will be employed during the construction.
During the construction.
But when you operate,
you develop a lot of skills.
Yes, but when you operate, there will be only a couple of thousand or 3,000, something like that.
Yes, but the indirect employment is there also.
Fine.
Yeah.
But
agriculture
generates huge amount of jobs.
Much more.
That's why I'm interested in agriculture. Tell me, what exactly are you doing in agriculture?
Thank you, Mo. Well, what we are doing in agriculture, we are building 1 million tons rice, parboiling and processing with power generation, also attached to them. And with this, what we are doing is that we are giving the farmers, seeds. Apart from seeds with implements, and then, when they finish the harvest, we buy this. But they have a choice also, so that we don't really hold them to ransom. They have a choice of selling to anybody who will offer more.
So we give them the seeds and the fertilizers and
the implements. If they need any additional money, we have a backup by our central bank to lend them money, as a
to enable them
to enable them, yes, because in those areas it is very difficult for them to go and mortgage their houses and borrow money.
Monetize.
So so they can easily borrow money under soft terms. Somebody is not going to ask you to bring your grandmother's certificate of birth, which you normally don't have.
Okay, and but those people, when they finish, they sell you the rice, and you are committed to be competitive.
Well, committed.
It's not because I lend you money, you must give it to me cheap.
No. What we have agreed with them is that if my price is not right, they should give to somebody, but they should come back and pay me my money.
You pay your debt, of course.
Yes.
That's
what we have. But you see, you can imagine how many jobs we are going to create.
How many people are going to work on this?
Both that one and the sugar in the next 4 years, we are actually creating about 150,000 jobs.
150,000
jobs, yes.
Interesting. I mean, this one area where
you can see the impact. We are not going to create that much jobs in the refinery, which is 12 billion.
Yeah.
But this one is just less than 2 billion, but you can see the amount of jobs.
And now, let me talk about this aspect of jobs. Now, the fact is this: a lot of Africans immigrate to the West, Canada, Europe, and are in search of jobs. All right, forgetting that right here in Africa, there's this possibility that if you're an entrepreneur, you are going to be a potential employer of labor, because if you're creating services, you definitely need people to in the process of delivering those services, and you're going to employ hands. All right, so but you see in contrast that several Africans prefer to migrate to these countries, all because of currency exchange. I mean, give me a better reason for you to say you are relocating, or you want to jackpot in quotes, you want to settle in the West and all that. Many of these jobs Africans do in the West are menial jobs that are very, very ridiculous. That at the end of the day, it's not even what being even referred to as a job. These are dirty jobs, and some of them are not. There are very few Africans that actually migrate to the West and get, life-changing and life-rewarding jobs. All right. So job creation, all right, is one of the very good benefits of being an entrepreneur in Africa. So you should just take note of this.
Yes, if we really in Africa want to create jobs, prosperity, and also, somebody was telling me that yes, there's a great GDP growth here in Côte d'Ivoire, but it's not trickling down. Just like us, also in Nigeria, when you look at it, even when we're having 7-8% of GDP growth, down there they hardly see anything.
The trickle through is not happening.
It's trickling, but slowly.
Not serious.
Not serious. So the only way to have these things to trickle fast enough is through agriculture, where now, and that's why we have a greater advantage. I mean, you have a ready market, which is the difficulty of a lot of continents, but we have a market because the African continent imports more goods than any other continent. So what we need to do is to make sure that we transform our...
And that needs to change. Why should Africa be the most importable or import-driven continent in the world? It is just appalling. It's not really too good for the ears, and this has to change too.
Corn goods, and it's very, very important. More. Let me give you an example. Today, between Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, they actually produce 2/3 of the world's cocoa.
Yeah.
Okay. But the total amount of these exports that they have is about $6 billion. Okay, but the chocolate market is 100 billion.
Yes.
So you can see that they are just working for other people.
The problem is how to create African brands.
We need to do that. Even if it's not African brand, they should actually, that's right. They should actually have some of these factories here.
Yeah, but you need to create a brand in order to sell it. Marks and Spencer and markets everywhere.
The brand creation more is not really that difficult. The only thing that you have to be sure of is that your quality is right and your pricing is right.
Yeah.
Once you have that, nobody looks at where it is manufactured.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of the shoes you buy in Italy, they are not manufactured in Italy, especially in the US.
Is it US?
Yeah,
I thought
US.
US stopped manufacturing everything. They say China does everything now.
Well, China produces
shoes in America?
Yeah, they do all that, but right now your friend is trying to drag all the industries to go to America.
Okay, we'll not talk about that
Trump.
now. Right, I mean, that's very interesting. Let us move also to, although the point agriculture, I hope it registered. And that's a very important area because first we are not really using all the lands we have. We have huge amount of arable land which is not being used.
60% of the world's arable land.
And we're not using that. Then even the land we are using, we have the lowest productivity in the world. And there is a huge upside there if we improve that productivity. So this is an area we will need to look at very carefully.
We'll change that though more before you go on to your next thing. The rice before in Nigeria we used to do only one crop per annum. Now we do 2 crops, and they used to get about 1 to 2 tons per hectare. Now we have varieties that we imported that are giving us up to 8 tons per hectare. So once you have this, it will help the farmers. It will help a lot of people to now realize that look, farming is not a poor man's business. You can actually get rich faster in farming than doing something else. I mean, you look at it, today we also have fertilizer, which we used to import a lot. Okay, this fertilizer, we have laboratories that will go and test your soil and give you what kind of fertilizer that you need. Whereas right now, as of today, people use the same fertilizer for maize, for rice, for sugar, so they don't actually differentiate, including the type of soil that you have.
So this is the issue of best practice. Why don't you produce a case study or something useful? You've been through that, and let us, other African countries, appreciate how to do it, because we need to replicate what you have done there in other countries as well. Or you plan to do it all by yourself?
No.
Okay, so you're going to allow other people. So why don't you really let people know, here is how to do it.
That is one of the reasons why when you look at it, I do travel, very often. To various areas, where I can give a talk, sometimes inside Nigeria, sometimes outside, Nigeria, just tell them that, hey, look, all this thing is a myth. Nothing is impossible. We can really make it happen. We as Africans, we can actually, the issue is that, first of all, we have to understand that there are, in all the countries in the world, whether it's South Korea, Japan, US, those economies were actually built up by their own indigenous. So if we don't lead in Africa,
agriculture was the basis of the world of many existing.
And that's the point. You see, most of these countries Africans are immigrating to were built by the indigenes. So if our people keep just emphasizing or being emphatic on just immigration, becoming second-tier citizens, doing menial jobs, who is going to develop Africa? Okay, so we have to reinvent and reorient ourselves and focus on self-development. This cannot just be overemphasized.
Countries, agriculture was the basis of development of many countries.
Many of these countries.
It's not backward as people think.
No, it's not backward like
But because of time, let us move on a little bit different subject to talk about you as a person. And You made a lot of money now, but I guess it doesn't matter now because for you it is numbers in the banks, you know. You look at your bank statement and you know how many zeros here or it's not zero there.
But I don't even look at that at all.
You don't even like it, but it's okay. But when you made your first million or 5 million, how we deal with that? When you made your first million or 5 million or
You know, the way it is that when you first start business, your target is to make your first million. You know, okay, fine, I did that. But you know, after you know a year or so, I realized that look, I have much more than 12, 13 billion. You know, and I said, okay, fine. All these numbers are just written numbers.
Yeah.
You know, and one day I went to a bank.
yeah.
You know, at that time there were no restrictions of this, and I wrote a check and cash $10 million, and I took it home
For yourself?
for myself. Yes,
You cashed $10 million
$10
from the
yes,
bank?
Yes,
Yes, and took it?
I put it in the boot of my vehicle,
Yeah.
and I went home and I opened it and I look at 10 million. I said that okay, fine. Now I believe I have money. I know.
So you put this in the bed and you slept all night on top of it. You made love to your money.
It was in the boot of my
the car.
You know, car.
Yeah.
But I brought it and I went there by myself. I drove myself to the bank. I cashed the money, and you know, I put it in my room and I look at the money and I took it back to the bank the next day.
Can I ask you how much money you have in your wallet today?
Today,
Yeah, how much money you have in your pocket?
you'll be very, very surprised.
Uh-huh.
I don't even have, not even $1, nothing.
You have no money on you.
Nothing. Nothing. I have nothing.
That's money for you guys. When you have money, you don't carry money. See, that's really interesting. No, that's. I know you also started the foundation.
Yes. Well,
And
started-
what is the focus of your foundation?
I think the focus of our foundation is health, education, empowerment, and you know, disaster relief. So we do quite a lot. 2 years ago, we did an endowment of $1.25 billion.
$1.25
$5 billion.
billion.
Yeah, dollars. Yes.
You made an endowment of the foundation
Yeah,
of $1
foundation.
billion.
Yes.
That's
1.25,
interesting.
yes.
Okay.
But you know, the foundation also is not a new foundation. It's very old.
Yes.
I started the foundation, you know, in 1993.
Who manages this foundation?
It's a lady called Zura. You
Yeah,
see,
Zura, I know.
she's somewhere here. She's doing a great job. That's her.
You're gonna have a queue of people asking you for grants. You better run away now. Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask you another personal question, if you don't mind. You must be the most eligible bachelor in Nigeria.
Oh, Mo, you've started again.
Yeah? I mean, you are nice, you are handsome, you are slim, and you're richest man in Nigeria. You're always courteous, and I imagine there's a whole huge queue of young women outside your office every morning. Hi, Aliko. What's going to happen? I mean, you.
Well, Mo, of course, yes, it is natural.
Yeah.
But, you know, I will now tell all those ladies to go and apply through my brother, who is my consultant. And he will help me and vet which one I should marry.
Who's that consultant?
That's Mo Ibrahim.
Oh, that's me.
You know, because I was telling somebody.
Now I'm going to receive 100,000 letters for CVs from
I
Nigerian
was
women.
telling somebody that I have a one-to-one with Mo. He said, when I said no, in about 3 hours. I said, oh my God. He said that, you know, Mo is actually harder than hard talk. I said, really? He said, yes. You know, it's better you go and face hard talk than facing Mo. I said, no, don't worry. He's my brother. He'll be sort of me.
No, I think we have been kind to him today. We do not have. No, thank you very much, Aliko. Please give me a hand. And we are running out of time. going to allow 2 questions.
But you know, Mo, I have a harder person. I thought I was very hard.
You?
But yes, I have somebody in the family very hard. My daughter is here, Halima. She's very
Oh,
hard.
Halima is a character. Yes.
That's why she's hiding. She doesn't want people to see her.
Yeah, Halima is
She's like a
woman, and
yes.
she's building her own space now.
Yes.
That's wonderful. She was with us in dinner last night, actually, when you were late. I'm going to allow only 2 questions because we run out of time, but I really need interesting, serious questions. Not application for marriage or... Okay, somebody over there, yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Uncle Mo and Baba Aliko. My name is Velani Mboweni. I'm a South African entrepreneur from Cape Town, focusing in technology and transportation. Now, I believe that Aliko started his business at 21 years old. If you were a 21-year-old entrepreneur today, what 3 sectors would you focus on creating a business in? And what 3 factors would you believe will make you succeed? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I think the most sectors to focus is either ICT or agriculture. These are the 2 promising this thing that you need to focus on. But you see, a lot of people, even the younger ones, we need to be also very, very careful, because one of the biggest issues with us Africans is that we spend our projected incomes. Once you start doing business starts doing well, rather than for you to keep reinvesting into the business, you start spending money and thinking that profit will continue to come. There are ups and downs in business, so you need to be very, very focused and say, okay, fine, what do you do and how do you do those things?
So you're not supposed to buy a Porsche car or...
No, you are not supposed to do that. You see, because those luxury things, they also take up your time, which will not make you focus on your business. It's like I don't have any holiday home anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't have a house anywhere, but I know people who are working.
In the midst of reviewing these videos, precisely respective to Aliko Dangote, I've reiterated the importance of financial intelligence. You have to develop these attributes. If you've got to be successful in your venture as an entrepreneur, right? Even in software engineering, like you've heard now, Aliko Dangote, in answer to that question that the young man was asking, he mentioned ICT. And ICT is broad, you're talking of software, data analysis, artificial intelligence, and so much more. And after mentioning that, he also mentioned that you need to, have discipline. Financial discipline is very, very important, as well as financial intelligence. It's not everything you have to keep spending. You need to learn how to reduce your costs. Your cost of producing any service, whatever service you are giving, whether it is a service, salary-based service, or personal-based service to your clients, whatever profit you generate, you must have a little portion where you save. And again, let me also mention the fact that loans too, if you're going to take a loan, ensure that the loan you're taking is going to make you a creditor in the shortest possible time and not a debtor. All right, you should not be a debtor, you should be a creditor. This is very, very important.
For me, they have a house in London, but I don't.
Interesting. That's why we have to put you up every time we see you, yes? But one more question, and that was a good question, the last one. Try to get me a better question. I cannot see in the dark, please. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Hi, my name is Nikki Wako. I'm from South Sudan and live and work in Belgium. I had a question about the Continental Free Trade Agreement that's being shopped around. I understand a couple of countries have had issues ratifying it because they were concerned about the private sector. And as a key member of the private sector, I would like to know, are you truly concerned about the impact of the free trade agreement on the industry in Nigeria? And secondly, infant industry protection in the agreement, do you think that would be a challenging, or would that be a root cause for why Benin, for example, is not allowing your products in the region?
I think you answered that question.
Well, I've answered that question, but you see, let me also.
If you answer that question, let's allow another question.
No, she asked.
Because you said it's not working.
It's not working.
So, what more you want to say?
No, what she said was think about the industry, right? Am I right? Yeah. Well,
yes.
The issue is that if we'll implement it to the latter, then it's okay. You know, for example, South Africa they signed, but they said that yes, it has to have 80% content, local content. If it's 80% local content, I want you to count 20 things in the entire Africa where we produce with 80% local content. Okay, because the biggest issue that we have a structural problem in terms of industrialization in Africa. Most of the factories that we have in Africa, they are just assembly plants.
Assembly, yes.
Okay, so they don't really process local raw material to this. You know, like us now, if you look at it before in cement, we're importing. Now we produce almost every single thing in Nigeria, with the exception of what we don't have enough, which is the you know, the gypsum. Gypsum is only 3%, which is really peanuts. It's nothing. It's very cheap. It doesn't even, you know, it doesn't.
But do you think that 80% is a high bar?
I think, I think more we have to really protect our region, because, you know, I'm sorry to say this, because a lot of people who are pushing for this CFTA, they are just looking at some of the weaker countries to go through and push their products into Africa. You know, so if we are going to, I don't mind, even if it's 70%, we can start. Even at 80% that South Africa said that, look, it has to be 80%, I think it's too high. But we can even go down to 70. The biggest challenge is the implementation. Because today, if now the Republic of Benin are not allowing me to take cement in, which is 28 kilometers, how can somebody from Cote d'Ivoire be able to now send their goods by road to Nigeria? It's only 1,000 kilometers. But it will be very difficult, because he will have problems with the Republic of Benin allowing him to enter.
Okay, I think we need to ask that question to our friends in Cote d'Ivoire here. Maybe ask the president. We're going to see the president in 1 hour.
Yeah, well, no
Can
one.
we ask him?
Yeah, we can ask him.
Can
But I
ask him,
think,
how are you going to manage to
you see,
keep it?
because it will help quite a lot when we have this in between all the countries.
Yeah.
Where people now, for example, you know, I mean, in Cote d'Ivoire, everybody wants to come now. And
So let us summarize here. The message from business really is that please be real. Our political leaders, you sign agreements about free trade among African countries. Please do it. You know, implement what you sign.
they have to do it more, because it's just like today more. Every day you invite me for dinner, and you know, I'll call on you. You know, you give me dinner. Both of us were doing business of similarities, and we are not doing any business. It's only a matter of time that we believe that, look, we are wasting my time, and I'm also wasting my time. Okay, so for countries, for us to strengthen those relationships, we have to have an economic relationship.
Economic integration is useful.
That's right. So the integration really is useful. We shouldn't be complaining that yes, we have a lot of youth. You see, and we have to be very careful. We've seen this in North Africa. The time bomb that we have is this youth that they don't have jobs.
Okay. With this note on integration, I have to end this because we are running out of time. Please give a hand to a brave man.
So that's just about it. I hope you guys enjoy the video and you put down some very important notes and points. And well, I'm praying that things will just get better as we embrace our responsibilities in Africa, and Africa gets to its highest potential as a continent. Remember to subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell notification, leave a like so that other people will discover this video on the internet. And until next time, this is bye for now. Cheers and all the best.